Welcome to What the Tech, the show where we cut right through the hype to bring you news you can actually use.
So today, we are diving into some new research that is, well, it's fascinating, but it's also a little bit frightening. And it could totally change how we think about our privacy online.
For years, a lot of us have counted on pseudonyms or burner accounts to speak freely, right? To ask those sensitive questions, or just keep our different lives separate. We all figured that gave us a pretty solid wall of protection. Well, it turns out that wall is starting to crumble.
And this isn't some far-off theoretical threat. It's happening right now. New research shows that the AI tech behind things like ChatGPT, these large language models, can now connect the dots. They can link your so-called anonymous accounts directly to your real identity. And they can do it easily, automating a process that used to be incredibly difficult and expensive for anyone to pull off.
So you're probably asking, how on earth does this even work? Well, it's pretty wild. The best way to think about it is like a super-powered AI detective. It can sift through all the digital breadcrumbs you've ever left online and piece them all together to find the real you.
And this AI detective, it follows a very clear, very efficient process. First, it just gobbles up all your public posts from an anonymous account. Then the LLM gets to work, extracting these tiny little identity signals. We're talking your job, your hobbies, even the unique way you phrase things. After that, it scours the web for real profiles that fit that description, cross-checks details on other sites, and then finally, it gives a confident score on the match. It's a full-on investigation, and it happens in seconds.
Okay, so that's the how. But the real question is, how well does it actually work? Let's get into the results from this research, because this is where it gets really eye-opening.
So get this, when the AI points its finger and says, yep, that's them, it's correct up to 90% of the time. That level of precision is just incredible. It means there are very, very few false alarms.
And it's not just precise, it's shockingly effective. In some of the tests, the AI was able to successfully unmask nearly 7 out of every 10 users it went after. Just think about that. That is a huge chunk of people who thought they were totally anonymous.
And this chart really tells the whole story. Just look at the bar for the old ways of doing this, the classical manual attacks. They barely even register. Now look at the new LLM attack. It's playing in a completely different league. The game has well and truly changed.
The craziest part is what gives you away. It's not always the big, obvious stuff. It can be the seemingly harmless details you share, like what movies you're into. All those little things can combine to create a digital fingerprint that's more unique than you could ever imagine.
I mean, look at this number. In this study, almost half, 48.1% of people on a movie forum who just talked about 10 or more films were correctly identified. Your specific taste in movies could literally be enough to give away who you are. That's just wild.
Okay, so the tech works. It works alarmingly well. But what are the real-world consequences here? Why should you and I actually care about this? The real danger is one word: scale. This technology makes it so much cheaper and faster for anyone with bad intentions to operate on a massive level. We're talking about everything from governments tracking dissidents, to stalkers doxing critics, or even just employers finding out what their employees really think online. The potential for misuse here is absolutely enormous.
The implications here are huge, and we really want to know what you think. If you're finding this breakdown valuable and you want more tech news you can use, do us a huge favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to What the Tech, and drop a comment below. Does this research change how you're going to use the internet?
Okay, but it is not all doom and gloom. Now that we understand what we're dealing with, we can actually talk about how to fight back. And the good news is, there are some pretty concrete steps we can all take to protect ourselves.
First off, this isn't just on us. The big social media platforms have to step up. They can and should put technical defenses in place, like limiting how much data can be scraped from their sites and actively monitoring for the patterns that these AI attacks use. And, the companies actually building these incredibly powerful AI models also have a big role to play. They need to build in some guardrails, ways to stop their tools from being used for this kind of malicious attack in the first place.
And now, most importantly, here's the news you can use, what you can do. 3 practical steps. First, just be more careful about posting unique combinations of facts about yourself, the things that create that digital fingerprint. Second, practice what they call good digital hygiene. Use completely separate usernames, bios, everything, for each online persona. And third, limit your public footprint. Maybe it's time to go back and delete some of those old posts.
So, the bottom line is pretty clear. The game has changed. That old assumption that a different username was all you needed to be anonymous online, well, that's just not safe anymore. That digital shield is way more fragile than we thought. And all this leaves us with one last really big question as we look to the future. As AI gets more and more powerful, what does privacy even look like anymore? Is true online privacy becoming a thing of the past? Something to think about. Thanks for watching.